Well, good morning and welcome to another Wine Steward video. I think I was up for 24 hours yesterday, driving from Tuscany, the little town of Lucignano, down to the airport of Rome, and then waiting for 2.5 hours. I needed to make sure I got there early and got rid of the rental car and that everything was working. So getting there too early, not a problem. Waited, got on a flight to Heathrow. Nail biter there because we couldn't get to the gate. We were sitting there by the gate for 25 minutes, and so it was a sprint through Heathrow after the train, after the airport bus, after having my suitcase torn apart, after many others had in front of me, and sprinting for the gate, and finally made it for my 10.5-hour flight back to the United States. Took the taxi to a friend's house in Burlingame where my truck was stored. Drove home to Livermore and took the dog for a walk. That's the story, and but it's good to be back. Very refreshing. I did not obsess about visiting wineries per se. I think we made 2 winery visits. This was about eating, drinking, seeing, enjoying, and not obsessing. So it was a nice vacation. Thanks for asking. You didn't? Oh well, sorry. I do want to say that this message to you is timely. I don't know that I'll get this out in constant contact email form today. I will try. But I want you all to know that we still have 6 seats left for tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, a rare Thursday night event. We are providing an immersion into Bordeaux, the appellation in France, perhaps the most famous. Champagne and Burgundy would argue with that. But Bordeaux, we've all heard of it, and yet the Wine Steward hasn't treated it for many a year. We were gonna have a pro here to talk about those wines to you. We're gonna still have those same awesome wines, but yours truly is going to have to take up the mantle of presentation because he had the wrong night. So this guy's only in the United States, or at least in the Bay Area, for one evening, and that happens to be tonight. We're not gonna ask everybody who's already signed up to change their plans. So you who are signed up, yes, come on Thursday. You'll have to listen to me, or you get to listen to me. But I promise you good information, and especially good Bordeaux that you may never have had before. And to taste all of one type of wine, one region's wines throughout an evening, maybe 10, 11, I think we're doing maybe 12 wines. That is a rare pleasure. And I don't think anybody but the Wine Steward in this area can give you a venue like this where you're sitting on a mezzanine, classroom style, tablecloths, good stemware, water bottles, pencil, menu that also plays as an order form, hint, and listening and learning while you're sniffing and sipping. I mean, what a perfect way to know wine and basically, from my point of view, to wisely buy wine. So those of you signed up and those of you who are about to sign up, we do hope that this will be not only a tasting event, but a great opportunity for purchasing wines once you know what you like. So pretty cool, pretty unique what we do up here at the mezzanine about twice a month. So Bordeaux, here it comes tomorrow, 6 seats left. Go to thewinesteward.com to grab yours. Get a cheese and meat platter, by the way. We have some cheddar coming in tomorrow because I asked Kathy upon getting back this morning, did we order cheddar? And I don't know that she had, so I said, can we speed that up? And we also want to get some blue cheese in front of you at the very end because we'll have Sauterne. We will have Sauterne, in fact, by this producer. The wines get here today, so all 12 of those wines arrive today. I wanted to have one of those up in front of us, but I really need to get this video done. So I went downstairs and did find this. This is a dry white Bordeaux from Soudiro. Soudiro is a producer in Sauterne. They can't call the dry wine there that they make Sauterne, but they use the same grapes, Semillon, a little bit of Sauvignon Blanc. And this is a majestic white wine from there, a dry white, that I think just has to be called Blanc Sec from Grave. It's probably on there on the back. Don't have the reading glasses on. But from Soudiro, we will in fact pour arguably the most famous dessert wine in the world, Sauterne. And Soudiro is second only, along with Rio Sec and Clément and Doisy Verdun and maybe 2 or 3 others, second to much more expensive and world famous Chateau de Cam. So in fact, they are next door neighbors to Chateau de Cam. How about that? So we're gonna be finishing the event with that. We'll be having mostly reds. We'll have one dry white similar to this, and it will be a good event. So hope you sign up. I'm getting better and better at tuning my own horn. I try to be humble and often don't say enough about what's good about here at the Wine Steward. I just I just expect you to know. I'd rather be saying things tacitly, discreetly, low-key, subtly, instead of being overt and obnoxious. Well, some people can go a little bit too far in that direction. Maybe I do sometimes. I want to say that Jason, who we could call Mary, our daughter's guy of, gosh, I think at least 12 years. Jason Cryer is a great designer. He does t-shirts, he'll design anything for you. And in fact, he did our Domaine des Plus de Vie label, and he talked to us about what we had in mind. And we came up with something that he liked and that we especially liked. And now you guys all know that Domaine des Plus de Vie, 6 vintages strong now. That label was done by Jason, Mary's squeeze, if you will. Jason never told me, Jason once alluded to the fact that he got to design a label for some spirits that are made of all places out near Oakley and Discovery Bay. Knights Island? I can't remember the name of the island. One of the islands in the Delta is the location for sabbatical spirits. And Jason got to redo their labels. And in fact, he posted this very subtly. I mean, long after the fact, he posted this on Instagram. And it's the only way that I knew that this gin was, in fact, this label was designed by Jason Cryer. How cool. And we already had it on the shelf because A, we liked the product, and B, we did like the way it looked. We just had no idea that good old Jason had anything to do with it. What I am telling you about right now is a gin that I've told you about before, but I will say that I really admire this one for a gin and tonic in that gin and tonics, sometimes all you really want them to taste like is the tonic edition, and the gin should be subtle. Like when you use Beefeater, Tanqueray, something like that, the tonic kind of runs the show. You taste that more than you taste the gin, I believe. In this case, the overt, I've said overt twice, I won't say it again in this video. The overt, citrus and citrus blossom qualities. Sabado by Sabbatical. This gin, you can taste the gin in your gin and tonic, and I admire that. It's not forceful. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. But why, when you use good gin to make a gin and tonic, wouldn't you want to actually taste the gin and not just the tonic, right? So, thank you, Jason, for a great-looking package, a great-looking redo of their design, and thank you to Wine Steward for identifying a really good gin and tonic gin. I've had it as a martini as well, but I think it's especially good for that G&T, okay? All right. This is not going to be a long video. I'm sure you're glad of that. I just want to point out that we have two really, really awesome glass, by the glass only wines on our wine bar this week. And it's kind of fun that I believe Eric designed the flights since I was away. So it's kind of cool to see what people do when the cat's away. And one thing they discovered is that we had just brought in a wine that we've never carried here at the Wine Steward ever. We've always admired it. For us, most of our 26 years, it's been nothing but a rumor. But in the Napa Valley and well above the Napa Valley, there's been a winery in existence twice as long as the Wine Steward's been around, even longer than that. So I think for about 55 or so years, Stony Hill Winery has inhabited Spring Mountain well above the Napa Valley floor. And they've been making especially white wines for most of their years. Things like Riesling and Gewürztraminer and Chardonnay. We don't talk about Napa Valley Chardonnay as often as we used to, because I do think most thoughtful Chardonnay producers have moved their vines, or well, they couldn't move the vines necessarily, but they've replanted in cooler areas or places that are just nowadays thought to be better for Chardonnay. Places more ocean adjacent or bay adjacent, like Carneros and the true Sonoma Coast and so on. The fact is, if you're up and if you've got really spare soils, like very eroded soils like they have way up Spring Mountain, you can make a really cool Chardonnay. And it's also all about what you encourage your Chardonnay to be like. The Stony Hill style is always conservative, lean, anything but buttery oaky, ageable, mineral. I'll bet malolactic fermentation, if we know what that is. That's that second fermentation that encourages butteriness. I'll bet that's either prevented or discouraged in this wine, because when you have it, you're having lean, vibrant, alive, refreshing Chardonnay. It's never inexpensive, but because we finally got a really good by the glass price, wholesale wise, we're able to afford to put it as a by the glass wine on our wine bar menu. So you may be getting to try your first Stony Hill Chardonnay ever, or maybe if you're already aware of the brand and have had it before and you're surprised the wine steward has it, come on in and celebrate the fact that it's currently on our shelf. Stony Hill Chardonnay, the producer way up there on Spring Mountain, the mountain appellation right next to Mount Veeder in the Mayacamas Mountains. That's the mountain chain on the west side of the Napa Valley. The other wine by the glass, the last thing to tell you about, thank goodness, is Clos de Brusquière. Clos de Brusquière Chateauneuf de Pape is a leftover. We're very, very happy to have overbought from our recent Chateauneuf de Pape event. Clos de Brusquière Chateauneuf de Pape, vintage 2022, an awesome year for the Southern Rhone appellations, especially Chateauneuf de Pape. This is available by the glass only. Neither the Chateauneuf de Pape nor the Stony Hill, I think I've already said, are inexpensive glasses, but the point behind ordering a whole glass of something is to fully know it better than by the taste. Yes, it's fun to do those 2-ounce pours 5 times in a wine bar white flight or red flight, but to fully know these wines, buy up a little bit, get, pay for a glass and give these wines some due. You could spend a half an hour enjoying a glass of either one of these and smelling and sipping, let the wine warm up, let the wine open up. Really, really good wines like these have, they're like a book with several chapters. They have more than one short story to tell. There it is. I'm gonna go try to put this up on Constant Contact right now so I can send you an email form, the reminder about tomorrow night's Bordeaux events. I believe it's at least 11, and I think it's 12 wines strong. 10 of those will be red from the left bank, the right bank. We're gonna talk all about that. It'll be a good time. Thank you so much for everything you're doing here at the Wine Steward. For those of you who haven't visited lately, we do miss you. It feels like fall out there, and this is a good time of the year for people to actually show up again. We've seen they get a little more wine thirsty at this time of the year, especially for the red stuff. So if you haven't come in lately, let's get you in here. We could sure use you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.